Here, based on the approved method statements, the activity has been distributed, and we know the plan, how the resource needs to be allocated to the activities, and it has been allocated to the respective activities. But now our case, this is converted into AED, and therefore we have given the cost part. The resource, all the resources, manpower, material, and equipment and all converted into in terms of money. There is some groundwork we have to take care, and what are the output of the groundwork and the cost we need to be distributed to the activity level. That is what we have done here. So here all this all included with the manpower, material, and cost. Man hours, of course, man hours, material, what type of material are going to use for this, and other costs such as equipment and what are the equipment we are going to use. So accordingly, we have to calculate, and we need to distribute as a cost. So after we have done with the resource distribution, the cost distribution, we are getting the PMB cost weekly progress status. The weekly wise the bar chart shows here, where this is a smooth S curve also seen. This is a cumulative distribution of resource and cost budget. Now, if you see closely see this carefully, there are two places we can see the red bars. It means our allocated resource needs to be leveled in such a way, because when leveling this, leveling means there is a restriction. There is a bottom line here shown, the limitations line. If anything goes beyond, especially for this type of the red, maybe what type of activity, what type of resource, we're not sure about that. But somehow the reference that all exceeding the reference limits, and therefore these type of places, we need to level the resource, and we have to reduce this type of red alert, and rightly we have to distribute. That is what showcased here in this slide. Here in this schedule, there are fully we have loaded, and also we have discussed about this red alert, where the bars need to be that resource assignment needs to be revisited, and we have to level if it is increase or decrease of the activity duration, that and all we have to consider. And now you see here, there are some resources here in the March month, March 2018, where we have not loaded with any resources or any cost here. So in this case, you have to dig into the activity level, where sometime, some of the activity we are not giving any weightages or any cost. It is a dependent activity or some third party involved. We know the main contract is no way connected with this type of activity. And maybe the reason the resource or cost has not been loaded. But we have to thoroughly investigate. And we have to study about how the distribution is occurred, and what type of things are required to control this distribution and all. The wise allocate resources as if turning lead into gold. Hermes Trimeg's a very famous statement. So resource allocation is very important as far as PMB budgets and monitoring part is concerned. So let us take some more time to read through the resource requirement and the right way of distributing the resources. Because if it is not done properly, so we cannot blame the EVM method. It is giving the right reports, or what are the expected level of reports. So accuracy is very, very important as far as the distribution concerned, to evaluate rightly with the PMB. Here, the time-based plan exhibits an S-curve, which is budget as well as a cumulative budget. When you closely see this budget part, it is shown in the blue bar. and it is all spread over across the month from January to December. It's a very common S-curve to study purpose only. And if you see in the beginning, the curves and the resource is starting with a very minimal way of spending, and when it is coming to the peak, it is going more, and therefore there are the different curve here from May to, I can say, May to August, the different curve. And initially we have the different type of curve, and here the different curve. And end of the project, again, slowly the budgetary spending plans are decreasing. Accordingly, the curve level also coming down, I mean, the change in the different curve edges. Understanding this curve, which helps efficient resource management, which really helping us to optimize the productivity during the project. Of course, the adaptability and resource allocation as needed to ensure the successful project execution, as well as controlling the budget in right away. Now the great question is, how can a baseline be established when there is a insufficient detail in statement of scope of work? Here, the important criteria is a scope, schedule, and the budget. We need to integrate in right way, and therefore the budget and schedule is the right budget and schedule is possible. If there is a gap in the interconnection, there is always a problem with updating the EVM and end value reports and all will not give you the effective response. And if some of the activities or some of the relationship are not properly integrated, and therefore the float also travel independently, and sometimes it may be very huge in number. Our spending plan, I mean, suppose any activity is required to be completed in later stage of the project, but if you say very wrong logic is given the relationship, and therefore it happen to be seems to be in the initial stage of the project. So ultimately we are performing that activity without knowing the right connection to the successor activity. It is a real-time scenario, happened to few of my projects also. When authorization of expenditure has been given for the 1-year project, AFE has been given, and we got the approval for spending. This approval taken place in the first quarter of the month, and we have spent for that particular activity, but verily notified that the successor activity, it falls into the 9 months later. So we could have been waited for that activity to complete as per the physical requirement in the progress nature. Sometimes this has happened. We used to spend without a reason, used to spend, and we are overspending, something like that, spending the money on the early stage of the requirement as per the actual scenario, but we have spent, and later we are unable to book the right way of booking the end, I mean, estimated completion and all. So this is all the big problem, and therefore accuracy of keeping the scheduled timeline, especially the activity, and the correct relationship logic linking is very, very important to face this type of issues. And the next question, how it is possible to create a baseline for a long-term future effort. This is a very common problem in all the projects, especially the long-term projects. Long-term projects comes, so many interdependency activities, and a lot of long lead items are connected, some manufacturing time taking, and the delivery also will take some type of projects. We have to rightly we have to monitor very closely, and when the material need to come, it has to come. Sometimes keeping the material, bringing the material so early in the project, keeping ideally in the warehouse or somewhere, or in the open space some materials. So some natural calamities and all, it may corrode or whatever may be. So why and what is the purpose of bringing the such a equipment or material so early, which is not at all required for the site at that moment? Progress has been shifted. Some of the activity got a delayed or whatever may be. So we have to plan the right way of executing the things. That is what here very important point we have to see. Here the scenario about the rolling wave planning. So what the meticulous type of activity, parallel activities are performing. Here there are two different colors showcased. One is the blue, regular, like a wave. The wave comes from the ocean and again merging with the same ocean. The same concept is applicable here. The blue shows a short-term prospective weekly, monthly plans. We have to plan for frequently, and when and where sometimes the tides are high, the stage perspective, mid-level, semi-detailed plans and all happening meticulously. Maybe not in the weekly basis, or here and there 3 weeks once. So a continuous process. So the type of things we have to identify. And as a whole, what the green shows, project a perspective, high level, not a detail. So this is all the common ground. So combination of these three only representing the rolling wave plan. So how you are performing and how you are breaking down the planned activities in the different level of what type of level of effort we have to put, and what is the quantity, and accordingly we have to think, and then we have to execute the project. Work is to be done in the short term, we have to plan. Work is to be done in the mid-term, we have to plan, and in the high level also we have to plan. So acknowledging the limitation of providing extensive planning detail for distance projects phases. This is what the fundamental idea behind the rolling wave planning. The project nature, the complexity of the activity need to be decided. Some of the activity, within the activity range, some we have to plan for a weeks, some we have to plan for the months, and some maybe plan for the quarter and all. So some permutation combination have to work, and we have to do some bottom-up planning. So it goes into the top level. Based on that, how the progress is going on, what the productivity is taking care, and how based on the progress that earned value, what is the future, how we are going to complete, and what is the money required, remaining period, how we are going to cover. So those things can be parallelly we can done. This is how it will help us. The control account can be divided into two. One is work package and planning package. See, if you see the control account, this work packages are what we're planning in the near future, and the planning packages is what is for future. So planning, thinking ahead, and we are going to do how we are going to do the particular piece of work or job, whatever may be. And it is all for long term, far away, how we are going to look, and for the shorter period, near future, how we are going to execute the program, execute the work, we have to see. Basically, the planning package group logically related work, and that cannot be detailed furthermore in the planning package, because we don't know about the exact scenario. Planning package may subject to change, and in fact, the latest agile model also saying that attack the very what is in front now, and then we can attack the future for future activities later, and therefore we don't have any full detail. While executing this work progress 1 and 2 and 3, and we'll come, we're nearing the 4 only, we will end of the work progress number 4 only, we come to know what is the next 3 weeks to look at, what type of things we're closely monitoring, like a 3 weeks look ahead, 5 weeks look ahead. So that way we are going to monitor the progress and move the planning and planning work packages and planning packages. Here the summary level planning and undisturbed budget, you can see here the contract budget, where you can see the initial gray work packages and which is in the gray area, and the planning packages also shown in the light gray, and whereas summary level planning packages in the future, no, it is also showcased now. So now in the beginning, during the work package, our effective works packages activity items are we are going to perform in the near term, and again the planning packages for the far term. It is graphically showcased here. It is critical to the integrity of a EVM system of as if the summary level we can see here, and the undisturbed budget serves as a temporary holding account with a PMB budget. So this is how the work packages and the planning packages is being monitored. Here very important is the representing the portion of lower level WBS and OBS is very important. How the work breakdown structures and how the WBS is work breakdown structures detailed with furthermore levels. Some projects, especially infrastructure projects and all, or even the shutdown projects and all, we used to break level 6, level 7 and all to minutely going to control the progress on even some hourly basis also. Some type of shutdown part of projects, no, shutdown related projects, we have to closely work. So many coordinations are there, and only available window, shutdown window available, and within that period you have to finish it and come out. Otherwise, this is such a big drastic problem here in oil and gas, especially production units or a manufacturing plant. We are unnecessarily keeping the plant shut down for some period, I mean scheduled period, maybe some maintenance period we can say. Sometime if you are not properly planning, then apparently it is very difficult, and naturally we need to extend the time period for the shutdown period, which is all operational impact. So many problems that comes, and therefore we have to plan rightly. We have to concentrate more into the work packages nearby, and we have to think about how the far term activity group activities we are going to attack. This is how the hope this performance measurement baseline and how we are going to get benefit out of it is helps a lot for penetrating yourself to move around.